Hey everybody, it's Josh. I had to move inside today because the bugs won. That's all I can say is the bugs won. I already got my shower earlier, so I'm not going to put bug spray on again. And here I am, inside. I wanted to talk today a little bit about the hardest question for Christians to answer. Now, we never really understand completely the answer to this question, but it is something that we kind of get a little bit of a grasp on just by being born again, having the Holy Spirit. That is, why do bad things happen to good people? Why are we put into this fallen world? Why are we full of the original sin, the lust, the greed, the corruption, vengefulness, all those things that God tells us we should deny in ourselves? So why even be here if all of these things are against God? Well, for me, it is something that I think about quite a bit. And the answer is, in my opinion, and now this is not based on anything except for what God has showed me. We are here for a very important reason. Each and every one of us. Even if you think you have the most worthless, dull life, even if you think that you don't matter at all, you are here for a very important reason. Now, that reason might be to affect someone else's life. Actually, that's what we're all here for, is to affect someone else's life. If we were just here by ourselves, it wouldn't really matter now, would it? I mean, we'd just be running around just trying to survive, and it would just be survival and that's it. But we are here to learn something very important. We are here to build a life that is closer to the kingdom of heaven than it is to hell, like it is now. Why do I say this world is like hell now? Now, I love my life. I absolutely am thankful for every single moment I'm given here. But as much beauty and as much joy is in this world, it is all laced with corruption. I just did a video and I was talking about love and not following your heart. That is not God's love I'm talking about. We should absolutely love everyone, accept everyone, because if you start picking and choosing who to love and who to forgive and whatever like that on what sins they commit, what type of person they are, then you are going to basically have no love in your heart. You're not going to have any love at all, because we are all sinful, backstabbing, vengeful, egotistical people. Now, we work hard to not be, especially us who are called as Christians, who are called by Christ to receive the Holy Spirit. But that doesn't mean, we'll go with lust, okay? So lust is something that when we're teenagers, there's no denying it. When you're a teenage boy especially, I can speak from experience, it doesn't matter what. If it was a female and it moved, I was looking at them. I'm sure if I was, there's gay people who feel the same way about, there's people of the same sex. No matter what, If it was, if she was even semi-attractive, I would sit there and have inappropriate thoughts about them. I could not stop myself, no matter how I tried, and I didn't really try that hard because I figured this is my mind, I can think whatever I want, and it doesn't matter. And then you get into the adult life. And I'm going by the world we live in now. We live in a hyper-sexualized world. Everything is about sexual identity, sex appeal. You know, letting feminism is now basically, oh, you can be a sex worker and that is perfect. Now, again, we are all sinners. But I don't accept the sin that we should just not even try to deny it. And that is what this world is telling us. We shouldn't try to deny it. In fact, we should celebrate it. We should celebrate all of it. Because it is beautiful who you desire, who you like to have sex with, how you just abuse and corrupt your body, the ways that we lure others in. You know, you look at the gold diggers, both men and women, looking for the rich person, looking for, you know, it happens more with women because women don't care as much. They still care, but they're not lusting the way that men usually lust. That's not to say they don't lust in a different way. They have their own way, and I'm a man, so I'm speaking from my perspective. We are basically, Christ even told us that when we are thinking with someone about someone in lust, thinking about your friend's wife in a lustful way, thinking about someone in anger or vengeance, we are condemned, basically. Condemned by the laws of God, by the laws of nature, by the laws of morality that God just instilled in all of us. That's why if you didn't have anyone telling you what those laws of morality were, you wouldn't have as much hesitation, but you would still feel murdering someone else is a bad thing, or treating people wrongly is a bad thing, because you would see that other person suffering, and unless you were a bit of a psychopath, you would feel bad for them. So we are all sinners, no matter what you say, no matter if you say you're not, that's fine. You can live the lie all you want. I mean, I'm not here to judge anyone. I'm not here to tell anyone how to live their life. I'm telling all of you why this happens. Why are we put in this position? But imagine we're put in a peaceful, loving world, a utopia. God lets us live in that utopia that he didn't want, because if he wanted it, he would have it. He would have nipped that in the bud as soon as that serpent was tempting Eve to eat the fruit off the forbidden tree of knowledge. And when she ate that fruit, then when she got Adam to eat that fruit, their desire turned into whatever that tree was. You know, people have had debates about that. Some people said it was some sort of psychedelic that allowed you to see more than what God wanted us to see. But whatever it was, it opened their minds And the consequence was they had these base, evil emotions. So I think I heard it was maybe John Lennox talking about it, how basically they became their own gods, small g gods, when they ate that fruit. And big G God, the Father, wasn't having that. He said, if you want to live disobeying me, it is perfectly fine. Go out and live that way. Now, I was replying to a comment last night, and I've been thinking about how people have called, especially the Old Testament God, evil. And I wanted to do a longer video on this, but I just wanted to hint on. I can't even speak today. Sorry, the bugs got me. They got in my head. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Stumbling my words. They have me scared in my house, in my bedroom. Those yellow flies and those mosquitoes. I must have like at least 20 bites on my legs and however many on my arms and back. I put the bug spray on my lower legs because I'm wearing shorts. They just crawl right up in the thighs there. Oh, right in the juicy parts, you know. It's fun. Let me tell you what. I love living in the South. No, I really do. I miss the mountains. I would live there again in a heartbeat. But this is where God wants me, and I am perfectly happy here. And there's a lot of beauty around here. I'm sure you guys have seen it in my videos somewhat, but there is so much more. In the fall time, when the heat goes away, I'm going to try to show you more of. So what was I talking? Oh yeah, okay. So I was replying to a comment last night about how the Old Testament God was evil. And one thing they bring up is how he told Abraham to kill Isaac, to sacrifice Isaac to him. Now, this, to me, is a good example of why people cannot see. People get the knowledge from the Bible. They're incapable of thinking deeper about things. To me, what he did with Isaac, it was not a nice way to do it, but I think it was the way he had to do it. So we look at Abraham's background. His father was a pagan who worshiped false idols, and his religion also sacrificed humans. And during that time, you have so many religions popping up everywhere, worshiping false idol, sacrificing humans. In fact, the Canaanites, who God told, I think it was Joshua, to drive out, my namesake, to drive out, the Canaanites sacrificed children on the altar regularly. They were evil people. And that's another example of people saying, oh, well, God's evil. He told him to go kill all the Canaanites. No, he didn't. The translation said to drive them out of their land. So he didn't say to kill. In fact, I think there was proof that they didn't kill them. At least, obviously, they had a battle, and some of them were killed. Probably many of them were killed. But many of them lived, and they were just driven out of their land, out of the Holy Land. So is it evil to drive out a religion who is sacrificing children? I don't know. I mean, you look at it that way. Was it evil we already know we hear how evil the Europeans were when they came to the new land, and then they started basically just destroying all of the Aztecs and Mayans and Incans, and just basically destroying everything they have. And that, to me, does sound evil. But these were pagans, and they were sacrificing humans to their gods. Sacrificing humans. I mean, not only is it false idol worship, which they didn't know the real God, so we can, I guess, forgive them for that. There is no way that a God who tells you to sacrifice humans is a good God. So is the Old Testament, is Yahweh a good God? He can't be if he told Abraham to sacrifice his son. But he didn't let him go through with it. He wanted him to climb the mountain thinking about, now I have to sacrifice my only son, or my chosen son Isaac. He had days walking there, thinking about nothing but that, praying to God that he take him instead. I know I would be doing the same. I'd be saying, please take me instead. There'd be no way I could ever even think about doing that. And you ask other people and they're like, they don't really have an answer for you. He did not want him to sacrifice a human. He was showing Abraham that is something only a false God would tell you to do. He was showing you how much that would destroy you if God told you to take your child. Now, a lot of people say it's showing your faith in God. And that is, in a way, that's true. I mean, it is showing your faith. Only the most faithful would even think about doing something like that. And nowadays we'd call that, a cult, a violent cult with human sacrifice. And we'd know right away that is evil. So all of these religions that had and were going to pop up, that sacrificed humans, sacrificed children, all these things, God wanted to show us how wrong that was. God wanted to show you the torment, absolute hell that Abraham went through as he was walking up there thinking he was going to have to sacrifice his son on the altar. Think about how you would feel. You believe 100% because God had come to him. There was no way he was denying who God was. He came to him. He knew God was the true God without a doubt. And he just said, I guess I have to. But he was showing him, look, you grew up in this idolatry, in this human sacrifice. So this is something that you are capable of because you've seen it. To you, worshiping gods is killing other humans for God, sacrificing them on the altar. Not in war, innocent blood spilled for your God. You grew up with that, so it is in the realm of possibility that you still have it in you. And again, all these other religions that Abraham saw, and that Abraham it would be way after Abraham, but he had to show a symbol, a message, send that message, the most powerful message, most powerful sign he could, and having him go up there. and then stopping him just right as he had the knife right lifted up. Then he stops him. So, is that an evil God? Or is that God showing us what not to do? And yes, it might be a scary way, and it might be a cruel way in our standards. By those standards, it was just the world. But by our standards, almost everything in history is cruel. Every people have been oppressed. Every person in this world has ancestors that have suffered immensely. That they've been their territories taken multiple times. There's never been a territory that hasn't been taken over at least once. Well, maybe somewhere in the Amazon or something. I don't know. Maybe there is, but it's not anywhere within the known, civilization that interacts with the rest of the world. So God shows us, he has to teach us each of these things because we are so easily led by evil. But we are here for a reason. And now him having a young child dying, we get so mad at God. But God, okay, we'll go back to the thing I was talking about, I think it was a couple days ago. It's a football game that you really wanted to see. You were so excited for, but you were recording it because you had to work or something. And then on your way home, your buddy calls you and tells you the score. God knows the ending. God knows everything that's going to happen. He knows where to intervene. He knows where to not intervene. He doesn't intervene much because that would be too easy. Easy does nobody any good. We have to learn the hard way to really learn right from wrong. To really learn the lessons that we need to learn from him. And while we see an innocent child dying or an innocent person suffering, we might think, how? We might shake our fist at God and say, why? Why would you do such a thing? What a cruel God you are. But here we are, ants. No, less than ants. Dust mites. Trying to understand quantum physics. An ape trying to build a faster than the speed of light spaceship. We don't comprehend what God's plan is. We are not supposed to. Maybe that's what that tree of knowledge gave Adam and Eve a little glimpse of. And it was terrifying to them. They started having nightmares. They started thinking evil thoughts immediately after. Because we are so far from the consciousness, the essence of God. We have to understand that essence of God is unmoving, it is immortal, it's been here for eternity. Long before this universe, long before time even existed. So we can't even say long before because he just is. We can't understand even that. We can't even grasp that, how something comes from nothing. So how are we supposed to grasp God's plan? how are we supposed to judge what is evil and what is not? I think we can't. I think us trying to just makes us into sad fools. But I'm not saying you shouldn't try to. I think about God's plans all the time. Sometimes I think, oh, well, maybe that might be it. I don't know. My kind of theory is, and this is just pure speculation, is that we are training for something very important. Whether we are meant to go off and be part of a new divinity, or a new divinity all in ourselves, creating a brand new universe. It makes as much sense to me as anything. And why you don't have anybody training, if you have Navy SEALs training and it's in a utopia and it's like the most peaceful place ever and it's just perfectly fine, we would have the worst Navy SEALs in the world. But no, they go through hell a week. They go through basic training and they go through SEAL camp, which is pushing them to every single limit, every single minute of every single day. They get barely any sleep. They have to swim insane amounts, insane distances. They have to, they'll trick them and, this was like an Army Rangers thing, I think. They said, okay, today, you guys have done a great job. We're coming in, you have a big bowl of spaghetti. And then all of a sudden, right as soon as they're done with that spaghetti, nope, we changed our mind. Come on, we're going to run up this mountain now. That was from Band of Brothers, I believe. We don't know, but it's not going to be easy. So we can choose to rage against God. We can choose to mock those who believe, like so many atheists do, like we are so moronic. But they can't tell you how something comes from nothing. They believe in the Big Bang Theory, which very well could be true. That's the beginning. God made the bang, as Frank Turek said, I believe. But you cannot explain anything outside of time and space. And I don't know if we ever will. I'm sure we'll figure out more of the spiritual realm and what lies within it. Maybe it's demons, some kind of aliens. Maybe it's dead spirits. Maybe it's paranormal ghosts. Who knows? I'm excited to find out everything. But my mind is not even capable of holding even a trillionth of God's plan in my... I would literally... It's like staring at God. You would be blinded instantly. When Paul was on his way to Damascus and he saw the true essence of Jesus, the spiritual form of Jesus, the divine form of Jesus, and he was blinded until Christ wanted him to get his eyes back when he got to Damascus. So you can hear my my girls fighting down there, I'm sure, in the background the whole time. I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. If you guys have anything else you'd like me to talk about or expand on this at all, I will. I'm going to do more about how we think God is evil coming up as soon as I can. I'm trying to do paranormal videos. If you're still watching and you've had a paranormal experience, please let me know. I'm very interested in this, but I have not had many paranormal that I can any paranormal really activity in my life. I can really, I've had divine experiences, and I guess maybe when I was experimenting with hallucinogens in my younger 20s, I guess you could call that seeing some paranormal activity, but I'm not sure. So I would love to hear from any of you who've had any of these experiences or any thoughts on any of this. I'm here for you all. We're a community. I want us to be able to lean on each other. I want us to be able to help each other in times of need. So please, whenever you need to, just reach out. I love you all. God bless.